Hello everybody, TTB here, 32 Bits, your host for the Amiga CD32 centric all things retro show, Spellbound. Today we're going to be taking a look at my latest acquisition, an as-is eBay Amiga 1200. Let's go. So like many of you, I've been buying Commodore computers for a long time. I've had more than a few Commodore 8-bit and Amiga computers over the years, but an Amiga 1200 is one Amiga that I've never owned. So more recently, after looking for one to add to my collection, I'd almost given up. I mean, sure, I could find one on eBay, but the prices are through the roof. Most are for sale on the other side of the ocean, so shipping costs make it very expensive to try to get one here in the States. I don't blame people for selling them for what they can get, but it does mean that if you're looking for a ready-to-run, buy-it-now Amiga today, you're going to need to spend a lot of money. And that's fine if you've got it. Go for it. But I don't. So I watch the listings every day and bid my max until I was able to lay hands on one for a price I could afford. About a quarter of the going rate for an Amiga 1200 today. But that low price does come with its risks. Okay, time to get this package open and see what I've got to work with. Now this is being sold as is. The seller did show a picture of it powered on, but was selling it as is due to its age. They did clearly state that they didn't know how well it was working and they had only done minimal testing. I get that. These computers are going on 30 years old now, and while I've embraced my inner geezer, and 30 seems younger and younger the farther away I get from it, 30 human years is like, what, 400 in computer years? Even when someone lists a vintage system as working, there's really no guarantee when you're buying one of these machines that's fresh out of an attic or a basement that it's going to work at all. This particular unit looked pretty beat up cosmetically, but the seller showed it posting to the insert workbench prompt, and the picture looked solid, so for the price I thought it was worth a shot. That being said, I still wasn't sure what I was going to get when I, opened it up. And looking at it now, I mean, it looks a little rougher than it looked like in the pictures that I first saw. And sometimes that's just the way it is, right? I mean, it looks like it's got, I don't know what colored paint this is. I don't know if it's like a metallic flake or what. And if I'm looking at the back here, it's pretty rusty. I mean, if you look inside here along all these ports, it looks like the metal RF shield that goes around all these ports. That's all rusted I'm seeing in there, and that's not making me feel very good. Now, I did notice in the listing about these keys, said there was a couple keys loose. This one looks like it's broken, and then this one doesn't. Yeah, that's not even the right key. I'm not sure what's going on here with that key. It's not the right color. It's not the right size. So these are the two keys. Looks like one of them has a broken stem, and this other one is just not. I wonder if I can get that off. Yeah, so that's just the plunger that goes on the inside right there. So I think I can replace that. I'm looking at this paint, and it looks like there's like, I don't know, at least a couple layers of paint on here. The badge is completely unreadable except for the chicken lips there. And I'm not sure what's going on with that logo. And picking this thing up, I'm looking inside. It weighs a lot. This thing weighs a ton, like way more than I think it should. Now look in this grate here. I can see what looks like a full-size hard drive. And look at the size of that thing. That is not a laptop drive. That is full drive. So I'm gonna have to open this thing up and see what we got inside. So we'll just unscrew the back screws here, pull the front cover off, lean it back. The keyboard is not screwed in, it just sits in there, so we'll pull that aside, take a look, and here's that hard drive. Well, yeah, like I was saying, it's a full-size Maxter drive. And it's got tape on the bottom. It's got electrical tape along the sides to insulate it from shorting, and a piece of plastic, thick plastic on the bottom to keep it from shorting on the bottom. This ribbon cable is really interesting. Looks like it was handmade. Looking at this keyboard, it's pretty gross, and that's a problem. We got the ribbon cable is cut there. It's sliced through. I may be able to fix that. I can bridge those connections maybe. We'll set that aside for now. Let's take a look on the inside. I'm looking at the heat shield. Let's try to pry this thing off and see what we got, especially on this side. It looks really rusty. It makes me nervous about what the motherboard's going to look like. to take off these screws on the back to get the floppy drive off. And they look pretty rusty themselves. I'll lift this drive out. That's going to need a good clean. And if I look in closely in there, see if I can zoom in here and show you. I don't know how much of that is just dirt and dust. You know, if that's fluid that's leaking from those capacitors. I'm hoping not. We'll see. I can't tell if those are rusted. This heat shield here, this RF shield is super rusted. It's flaking off. Take the floppy connector out there. Power connector there. Oh, this cable. It looks like they took a regular size IDE cable and then cut it down on the end. Let's lift the shield off. To bend these little tabs over all around and get the shield off. Take a look at this. It looks like the underside is pretty good. I mean, it's really shiny, so that's making me feel a little better. Maybe there was exposed to moisture, maybe an attic or something. The bottom there's looking pretty good too. There's a couple spots of surface rust. First glance, the motherboard looks pretty good. That shield is pretty rusted though. Same thing with the RF shield on the video out. So, not seeing anything that looks horrendous on the motherboard. Caps didn't look like they were bulging or leaking. Nothing obvious. No obvious damage on the motherboard. I'm going to go ahead and power this up. Now to do that, I'm going to have to come up with a power supply because this unit didn't come with one. I think I have what I need in here. Let's take a look. Now what I have here is an A500 supply, but it's one of the beefier ones, and that should do us just fine. The end on this particular one has been replaced because, as you know, I really like my CD32s, and I was actually using this to power a CD32 until I got another CD32 power supply for it. I put this one on the shelf because, you know, you never know when you're going to need a power supply. So I did check the voltage on this one beforehand. Like I said, I was using it to power a CD32, and it's fine. It has good voltages. So I kept the end, the square DIN socket to power the 1200 with. It's the same socket that goes for the 500. So I had that in mind when I purchased this because it didn't come with a power supply, and I knew I had one on the shelf that I could use. So I'm going to go ahead and solder this up and then hook that up to the 1200 and then give it a shot. Okay, the soldering's all done. I'll just clean up the connector here with some IPA, and then we'll be ready to connect it up to the 1200. Okay, so it's a moment of truth. Got this all back together, and that's the power supply that we just fixed here. And we got, this is all set up. I got it hooked up to a monitor that I know will do PAL. And we've got these full-size IDE. Let's just see if it's going to boot. Well, it's video signal. That's good. Something's going on there. Up and it sounds like it's loading. Something's going on there. What's going on? Oh, what? Yes. Yeah, we have a workbench. That is awesome. Don't have a mouse. Okay, hang on. I'll be right back. All right, plug the mouse in, and then we'll power it back on again. Okay, mouse is plugged in. Moving the mouse. It's not the. Look, the clicking is working, but the mouse pointer itself isn't moving. See if I can show you that here. Click. I think the keyboard has anything to do with that. Make sure the mouse is pushed in all the way. Power back on. Check the ball. Everything seems to be rolling okay. Yeah, we're moving the mouse, nothing's happening. If I click, though, as you can see, it does bring the menu. So the mouse is tight. It feels a little loose. I'm wondering if there's some corrosion on the pins. It is kind of rusty back there. But yeah, I can move the mouse all I want. The left, it looks like the right click works. If I could move the mouse over, I could check the other. Here's what I'll do. I'll shut it off. I'm going to press and hold both mouse buttons and see if I get the pre-boot menu. Yep. Okay, so that came up. That's good. That's telling me both mouse buttons are working. It's just the direction that's not working. So I'm going to have to work on that. Well, that's it, I think, for about now. Definitely have some work to do. We're going to have to clean up all that rust in there. I'm going to do a recap and try to get the paint situation sorted out, get that paint stripped off the case. Also, I don't know if you heard it, but the hard drive sounded like it was not, was spinning up and then, clicking, and I think that drive is probably failing. It is booting, so it looks like the motherboard's working okay. It's communicating with the hard drive. I'm going to replace the hard drive. Also going to strip the paint, get it all nice and cleaned up. Maybe replace the badge if that gets, depending on how that cleans up. I'm going to have to check out the floppy drive, make sure that's working. Probably do a recap on the motherboard. And yeah, I think, but it's in good enough shape. I think, for the price that I paid for it, I'm still pretty happy. I did notice that the clips are broken on the case, so that I'll have to deal with that. I think I can 3D print some of those. And I'm going to have to deal with the broken and or missing keys, or at least the keycap. So it's going to be a 4-part series. This was the unboxing and the investigative state. At the very least, we're going to do a recap and see if we can get this mouse pointer working. So here you have it. That's the first look at my eBay 1200. It's covered in purple paint. We're going to deal with that. Like I said, I'm going to try to bring this back to as close as new as possible. I do have some work to do, a lot of cleaning, try to get the case sorted out. Maybe I'll get a new case. We'll have to see what it looks like underneath. Maybe it's completely grayed. I know the key caps are pretty orange, and the bottom of the case is pretty yellowed. So definitely a retro bright in the future for this machine. there you have it. I'm looking forward to doing the next couple of videos. Talk to you soon, and as always, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Have a great day.